Hello, here we go again. This is the last module in this series of training on values clarification. I hope you enjoyed the previous discussion on instrumental values, the methods or action that we take to progress towards living our terminal values, which are the desirable states of existence that we require in our lives. We saw how focusing on instrumental values or means values, which are not related to our terminal values, can lead to dissatisfaction in life. Following such a means value could become an anti-climax because you'd spend a lot of energy but do not enjoy the results. It's like taking a journey, arriving at some destination you did not define. You'd have arrived someplace, but that's not where you wanted to go. The aim was to show the importance of ensuring that there is synergy between our intended emotional states and our daily actions and behavior. Now, actions require time to undertake. They require time to change. As such, values clarification also helps with time management in general. If you have spent time identifying your life purpose and defining your mission, values become the foundation for success in your life, as you can see in the schematic below. Let us review the instrumental means values we identified earlier. We learned that these means values help us in terms of shaping our priorities, what we do now and what we choose to do later. And they help in deciding between what is wrong for us and what's right for us. This is very critical. When we know where to invest our time and resources in order to improve the results that we get in those areas that are truly important to us. Whenever something worthwhile is achieved, it is likely that it's related to a particular life goal which was consciously or sometimes unconsciously wished for. Goals are useful as they help people to stay focused on important issues related to their life purpose. Thus, it's better when our life goals are set consciously than when we drift along in life unconsciously. To start the values action planning, take a piece of paper and draw a table with 4 columns as shown on page 9 in the working document. In column 1 and row 2, list the first terminal value from your hierarchy of values. In column 1, row 3, your second most important value until you reach value 6. Remember, we only prioritized values 1 to 6 from the 10 that you had identified earlier. Then I would like you to go to column 2, row 2 and divide it into 3 more rows. In the first row, write the first means value. In the second, write the second means value. And in the third, write down the third means value. I'll give you a bit of time. In the first row, write the first means value. In the second row, the second means value. And in the third row, the third means value, as you are seeing on your screen now. Now I'd like you to go to column 3, row 2. Write down a description of how it feels to live the means value in your own words. List down the names of people who are successful in this area of life. I would like you to begin to plan to talk to them and find out what they did in order to reach that particular state. Ask them questions and whatever you feel comfortable to use from their strategies while maintaining responsibility for all the actions that you take in your own life. Do this for all the terminal values. At the end, you'd have generated quite a lot of useful information about yourself. We call this self-awareness. Let's take an example. Let's say perhaps your means value was life skills training. What activities would you undertake? Perhaps you would enroll in a school for a given course. Perhaps ask to shadow a chief executive officer or another senior officer who's qualified in that particular area. Or maybe volunteer to work on a project where such skills could be gained. Perhaps if it's within your own organization or company, you could offer to take up a lower salary to work in a department where these required skills could be obtained. It's totally up to you. It has to make sense to you and it has to be important to you. Then I would like you to take a different piece of paper and list all the activities that you have generated above. Allocate the time deadlines when this should be achieved, or for those activities that are ongoing, when it will be undertaken, maybe every day at 6 hours or every second day, whatever works for you. The list could be endless. However, the key is to set deadlines as to when expertise and proficiency in lifelong learning can be attained on a continuous basis. An example is shown below. In the example, we're talking about lifelong learning. The action name and ranking in column 1, enroll in a class to learn values clarification. Target date, we said 14th December 2014. Resource requirement, access to internet and reallocation of personal time. Always put the resource requirements because you've got to generate those or look for them before you attend that particular activity. The key in this exercise is the aligning activities because these are the ones which go into the action plan. Furthermore, ensure that you identify all the resources that you require and how you acquire those resources. Then you need to rewrite all these actions as goal statements and give a date when it should be implemented. In that exercise, I would like you to identify the following. Who will undertake that action? In this case, it's you. You are responsible for change. You cannot put an action that somebody else is responsible for. What will be done? What is the action that's related to your value? It has to be very, very clear. When will it be done? This means that you're going to give it a time frame. You need also to include somewhere. Why will it be undertaken? Because it's going to be your motivator. In addition, the goal must have the SMART attributes. We've all heard about SMART attributes: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Please note that the prioritization of your goals has to be in line with the hierarchy of your terminal values. That is to say, all actions related to the most important terminal value have precedence in terms of your time and resource allocation. Even though goals are not set in stone, they still require one to be disciplined enough to sit down and set them and then implement them on a daily basis. Once you have completed this exercise, you would need to transfer them into your normal diary so that they become a part and parcel of your everyday life. Ask someone, a colleague, maybe a boss that you respect at your place of work, maybe a pastor at your church, to be your accountability partner. That is somebody you have to brief on the progress made on your values inculcation. Meet them at the agreed times and share progress or areas where you're struggling. They are going to be of great help to you. Well, this is all we had to cover in this particular module. We looked at how to further clarify your instrumental values and turn them into activities which can be undertaken on a daily basis. We also shared how the activities could be transferred into the daily planning documents like a diary for implementation. Planning is very, very important because it helps you to remain focused on the important aspects of your life. It helps you to be in control of where you are going and to remain motivated and to monitor your progress in life. This is the last in our values clarification series. Thank you for choosing the Change Agents initiative. We started this course by defining values as a belief system of all things which are important to you. You looked at the values of the most important people in your life and found out that not all of them are important to you today. We also learned that there are two types of values: terminal or ends-oriented values and instrumental or means-oriented values, simply referred to sometimes as ends values and means values. You identified your ends values and established them in order of priority, the hierarchy of values. This is going to help you to make decisions when there are conflicts between your values, but also to make other choices in life. We further learned that having ends values alone is not very helpful. You need to invest your time to identify the means values which are linked to those particular ends values. We have seen in this course how pursuing a means value which is not linked to any of your important ends values is unfulfilling. Then lastly, we looked at goal setting and action planning. Again, thank you for giving us this particular opportunity. I hope you found this course useful and that you use the lessons learned therein day to day.